This adventure started long before I reached Spain. It actually began at home, on my living room floor, trying to figure out how to take apart my mountain bike so it would fit in a cardboard bike box. It was the first time flying with a bike, and honestly that felt like an adventure of its own. But the very next day I was suddenly rolling out of Alicante, heading into the Spanish mountains to follow the Caminos del Sol. The name promises sunshine, but it was often colder than you'd think, especially at night. I'd come here to escape the UK winter and chase a bit of warmth, carrying everything I needed to camp along the way. The plan? A nearly 400-kilometer loop through the mountains of the Alicante and Valencia region. 9 days of riding, 8,500 meters of climbing, just me, my bike, and the mountains. I'm taking my first break. It is just after 12, which means I've been cycling for about an hour and a half only, although it feels so much longer. I'm already exhausted. It's beautiful around here, it's really beautiful, but I've definitely already underestimated this. There is a lot of ups and downs, and my bike is just very heavy with all my gear, and I'm going really slow. Which is not a problem in itself, it's just, then it makes it feel so much more tiring, I guess, that I'm really tired, but I've barely covered anything. I've done about 16 kilometers only. So, I don't know, maybe I've taken on way more than I can actually manage, but we'll see how it's gonna go over the next couple of days. I think I have plenty of time, so I can really take it slow. So I'm trying not to push myself. So I'm also going to try and take a good long break so I can actually relax before continuing. I am already getting a bit worried about water. So yeah, hopefully I'm gonna be able to get water before I pitch up for the night. But another thing that I'll have to just figure out how easy it's gonna go. So far, I haven't done that much, but there hasn't been any village or a water source or anything. I know there's gonna be villages along the way every 20-30 kilometers, so that should mean I can get water at those places as well. And it's just this bit from Alicante to kind of the actual loop that is a bit more isolated, I guess.
It is around 5:30 and I've pitched my tent. So the sun doesn't set here until like 6:15, something around that time. So it's still gonna be light for a while, but I'm just so tired and I just want to sit inside my tent. I am not as isolated as I would have hoped. There's quite a lot of houses around, but I think they're all far away enough that they won't really notice me. And the ones that are closest, I don't think they can see me. So while I've been here for about maybe half an hour, no one has paused except for one mountain biker. And when I had to walk up this trail, I was just too tired and it was too rocky. So while walking up, I didn't see anyone either. So I think I should be fine here. I am a little bit nervous, also because I don't speak any Spanish. So a couple of times someone just said something to me and I just have no idea. Most of the time it's just, oh, are you okay? Something like that, because I probably just look exhausted. But yeah, I think this should be a good enough setup for the night. So I'm just going to change into something less sweaty, and then in a short while I'll make my dinner, which is just instant noodles. And I bought the same for tomorrow because tomorrow it's Sunday, and as far as I could tell, a lot of the shops I'll pass tomorrow won't be open because they're a bit like the smaller grocery stores. Or maybe even the big ones are closed on Sunday as well. I'm not sure, but I brought food for 2 days, for today and for tomorrow. So yes, I'm going to sit in my tent, let my body rest, and enjoy the view, because the view is pretty good here. It's close to 9 and I'm nearly done packing up. I need to pack up my tent now, and that's more or less it. I slept pretty well actually. I did wake up quite a lot, also because in the night the wind really picked up. We got really strong wind. So, again, that noise on the tent woke me up quite a few times. But other than that, it was pretty quiet. It wasn't too cold and nobody disturbed me. So let's see how today goes. I feel energetic again and I'm excited again. So hopefully that's gonna last a while. I think I have about 20 kilometers before I reach the first kind of town, which hopefully maybe there will be a cafe or something open, but other than that I don't expect much. But it will be important for getting water. my second pitch. It doesn't look very spectacular from this point of view, but the view from my tent or from here is really amazing. There's also a view on the other side. So I've taken a bit of a risk with the wind, but hopefully it's not going to get too bad. I mean, yesterday night the wind really did pick up. I'm a little bit sheltered, but I'm basically just right at, after this both sides go down, and so potentially it can get quite windy here. I wanted to be as close to kind of the top as possible so that tomorrow morning I don't have to start climbing, which is what was happening today. I think it took me, the whole morning to cover just 16 kilometers or so, and I think half of the time I just had to push my bike up. It was really, really challenging today. So again, I don't know exactly. I've covered about 40 kilometers today, which is fine still, but I don't know how these people who come up with these routes cover like 65, 70 kilometers a day, or sometimes even more in these terrain. I really don't understand. They must be like super fit. So hopefully tomorrow, at least the start of the day, should be a bit easier compared to today, because it's just going down a couple of kilometers until a village where there's a grocery store, and then I have to look at the route, but hopefully it's going to be a little less climbing compared to what I've done today and yesterday, even though I don't really know how much I climbed, but it felt like a lot. I mean, I was definitely over 1,000 meters at several points. So, and I came from sea level, so that's the minimum I've been climbing these past 2 days. Today, definitely, even though again I'm really tired, it definitely feels better compared to yesterday. I'm not regretting my decision to do this trek just yet. But now it's getting quite cold, the wind is a bit chilly, and the sun has technically not set yet, but because I'm surrounded by hills or mountains, I don't see the sun, and it's also a bit cloudy today. So I am going to make myself dinner, my packed noodles again, the instant noodles, and then I'm probably just gonna sleep early today. I left my campsite about 10 minutes ago. It was not as easy to get over the next hill, but I'm here. And it was really cold at night, and now I see that some of the higher tops actually have snow on them, because it rained last night quite, well, not very heavily, but I think for quite a while. And so I hadn't imagined cold since there's snow around me. It's the end of day 3 and I'm pitched up underneath some olive trees. I think it's gonna be very cold tonight because it's already cold right now and it's about like 5:30. And the kind of the passes, the peak's not too much higher than where I'm at now. There's some snow. It may be the same mountains I saw from the other side this morning, but I'm really tired. Today felt better, like I have more energy, but the passes are so steep. I don't know how the person who devised this route said that almost everything is cyclable, but definitely not for me. And again, I've covered close to 40 kilometers, not quite. But it felt good today. I felt like I had more energy, a bit more strength. So we'll see how the rest goes. I do need to book some accommodation at some point, I think, because I'm running really low on energy, like my power bank. And even the hour here and there at a cafe to charge it doesn't really help enough, I'm afraid. So maybe around Christmas time, some people told me also the weather is going to change. Like, I don't know if that means much colder or potential rain. I'm gonna have to look it up, because if that's the case, then I'd rather be somewhere warm inside rather than suffering on my bike or in my tent. uh, but yeah, I'm hungry now, so I'm going to make my dinner, which is some tortellini with cheese. I didn't check how long it needs to boil. Hopefully it won't be too bad. And then probably won't do much reading before I'll get too tired and I want to go to sleep. But hopefully I'll get some good sleep despite the potential cold coming. I think I'm a bit sheltered from the wind more compared to the previous 2 nights, so fingers crossed that's the case, because yesterday night the wind gusts were massive. I needed to get out of my tent twice to repack my tent bags in the rain as well. But hopefully this place will be slightly better. So yeah, all in all, I'm happy with how today went. It is nearly 9:30 and I'm all packed up and ready to go. It's still a bit chilly, but the sun has just come up from behind the mountains, so it should warm up soon. It's a very short climb to the village where I need to refill on water, then climb a bit more, and then the rest of the day should not... It has climbing obviously, but not like one really long steep climb. It's more shorter ups and downs, or shorter compared to the previous days. And then hopefully I'll reach the point where I'm going down, and then somewhere on that downhill section before kind of level riding towards the coast, I should find a camp spot there. And then the night after I'll stay in a hotel along the coast. That's kind of the plan, because I need to charge all my devices. My power bank is almost out of any energy. So it's maybe a day earlier compared to when the bad weather is going to come in, but I still think that's the better choice, at least if I'm there for 2 or maybe even 3 days. At least there's stuff to do rather than in a really small town in the hills. Even though it sounds nice, I might get a bit boring. It's just past 1 o'clock, so I just stopped for lunch. There was a bit of a sports field at the edge of a village with some picnic tables. So I had my bread and cheese here, the last that I brought. So I definitely gonna need a shop for breakfast tomorrow. It's pretty cold, but so far the cycling has been going pretty well. I've cycled about 22 kilometers. And hopefully I can do another 15-20 to, well, it doesn't really need to be that, but then I get to another village where there's like a restaurant, so I could have some dinner there. And yeah, then tomorrow it should be a relatively short and easy ride towards the coast to stay in some hotel. I haven't booked anything yet. But yeah, today it's been mostly cyclable, which is a change compared to the last couple of days. And the scenery has been really different. There's been not as many of that rugged mountains compared to the first couple of days. It's still really nice, but very different. There's loads of agricultural fields with mainly olive trees. And I just cycled through a valley which was very muddy, so I can't imagine what the condition is after a couple of days of rain, because now it only rained 1 night 2 nights ago. But yeah, it's chilly. I have the sun on my face, so that makes it a little bit warmer, but the mountaintops that I'm looking at on that side, they're covered in snow, and obviously it's higher up than I'm now, but it's not even that much higher, I don't think. But it's definitely beautiful to look at. almost 6 o'clock and I have not been able to find a good campsite. The place that I had in mind, it was just not suitable for camping. There were some houses at first, and also the road, it was not like a gravel track, it was like a proper road. And it was very exposed and open, so there was no camping there. And then right before going down into the village that I didn't want to get into, it was just a very steep zigzag road down. So again, absolutely no space for camping. Then well, now I'm getting closer to the coast, so it's just very populated and still quite hilly, so not much space. Now the road is right here and it's kind of secluded, and I think it will be okay, but I also think I won't really sleep a lot. But then it's almost 6 o'clock now, so it's going to start getting dark soon anyway. And I don't know I'm gonna get anything better if I just keep going. Probably it's gonna get even more challenging, as I'm now about, I think, somewhere between 10 and 15 kilometers from the nearest coastal towns. So yeah, there's just no way I'll be able to find a camp spot that feels safe. At least here, there's nobody around. There's a village like right around the bend, but a very small one. And while I've stood here, and while I've cycled along the road, I barely saw any cars coming by. And it's not, I don't think it's immediately visible either, because cars will be just paying attention to, the turn rather than what's in the bushes behind it. So I'm not happy about it, but I think this will just have to do for tonight. At least tomorrow I'll be in a proper bed. I still haven't booked it, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty of available. Maybe once I have pitched my tent, I'll look it up online to see if there's already anything that looks not too expensive but not too bad either, and that I can book for a couple of nights. I'll look at the weather forecast as well to see what the weather is, what it's going to do. It is around 8:30, and as soon as I kind of woke up and it felt like it was light outside, I just packed up my things. I could see from where I was camped this little playground, so I've come here to make some coffee, have my oat bars for breakfast, because there's a restaurant here in this town or in this village, but it looks more like a proper restaurant than a cafe, even though it does open at 9 a.m. So I'm just going to have the coffee and the cereal bars for breakfast, and then it's probably going to be somewhere around 45 minutes cycling until I get to the nearest coastal town where there's loads of bars and cafes. So I'm going to get some good breakfast and coffee once I reach there. It's also drizzling a little, which was not on the forecast, but it's not really bad. I probably will have to change this into my waterproof coat once I start cycling. Luckily, the little bench here on the playground is underneath a tree, so that is at least a bit sheltered. And the night was pretty good for considering it was a pretty rubbish place to camp. It was really calm, and because the village is so tiny, there was no traffic during the night. So it wasn't too bad after all, but I was really regretting coming out of the mountains. I thought I should have just stayed in the mountains where it was calm, there's loads of camp spots, but I need to charge all my devices. So I've booked a place for 2 nights, and I hope that once I reach there, I'll be, happy with my choices. And it will be nice to just wash off all this grime that I've collected over 4 days plus the cycling I'm going to do today. So getting into a shower will be really nice too.